Hello, everyone. Today, it's a great pleasure for me on this video cast to welcome my great friend, my great wise friend, Jackie Roberge. Jackie is the founder of Business and Beyond. I put emphasis on the beyond. There's no limit to the work that she does with clients. She's a certified coach, trainer, and also a certified purpose coach. And she helps people find their purpose. So the reason I invited Jackie is, for me, in conscious leadership, finding our purpose is absolutely essential because it allows us to give meaning and purpose to what we do, but it also allows us to enroll other people in the mission that we're carrying. So today we're going to spend a few minutes to deep dive into this concept, purpose. So welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So it'd be great, Jackie, if you can share with the people a bit about yourself. Who are you and what kind of work do you do?
Okay, so maybe just a bit of background. I started out in business, and what I liked best about business was marketing. So that was my chosen career path. And it was one of those times where in my life where I kind of saw the road in front of me, that the path was, junior marketer and a director and VP, and that's where I was heading. And then all of a sudden it was like I took this 90-degree turn and got on another path. And it was all because of one decision. And that decision it didn't feel like a big decision at the time, but it really changed the course of my life. And that was the decision to start to meditate. So I took the Transcendental Meditation course. They said meditate twice a day for 20 minutes. They gave me the technique, and I went on my way. And it truly changed my life in so many powerful ways at a physical level, emotional, spiritual level, that it was overwhelming for me. I thought, this is the best kept secret. Why isn't the whole world meditating? And so I became very passionate about that. And then I got into yoga and coaching. And so for a while I had kind of parallel paths going. I was still doing marketing and consulting at a consulting level. And I was doing the yoga, the spirituality, the mindfulness, meditation. And then last fall, I decided to bring my coaching to business. And it was like my two paths intersected at this sweet spot. And I discovered that businesses were becoming conscious enough to understand the importance of meditation, mindfulness, taking care of their employees on a holistic level. And so for me, it's just an amazing place to be, where I feel like I can finally leverage my learning on one path and bring it to the business and really make a bigger impact.
Wow, amazing. Let's talk a bit more about purpose. So can you define for us what is purpose?
Yes, I have a simple definition. It's the unique difference that you are meant to make in this world. And really it's about leveraging your talents and gifts and your life experiences, because I believe that everything that comes along our path, especially the struggles, are meant to teach us and help us learn and grow so that we can move into our purpose in a bigger way, discover it and move into it in a bigger way. So it's really about this unique difference, and it's not necessarily a career. You can make it a career if you so wish, but it can also be something you do with your family, through charities, and it's really an innate part of you. So you're likely, even if you don't know your purpose, you're likely doing at least parts of it on an everyday basis. But when you put your finger on it and identify it, then you can amplify it. You really feel and lean into when you're doing it, and you feel the impact you have, and it just becomes really a magical experience.
A quantum physicist friend of mine shared with me recently that there's this theory we only use 10% of our brain, which is untrue. But we probably have 10% of our energy that's used effectively, because a lot of it is wasted because we're not aligned to what we're meant to be doing in this life. And a lot of us spend time dealing with the past because we have not healed our past. We have not transformed. He says if we can find a way to be truly aligned to what we're meant to be doing, we will significantly increase our output, our not only in terms of energy, but the effectiveness of what we're actually carrying. And
right.
You and I talk a lot philosophy and leadership, and I strongly believe, I think you share that we're all meant to contribute to others in some kind of way. So we'll share a bit later about you and I's purpose, maybe at the end. But for now, let's go dig deeper into this purpose concept. So why is it important to find our purpose?
Well, I like to tell a story that my coach, Tim Kelly, often tells, because he coaches high-level executives. And he said people come to him and they're embarrassed. They say, Tim, you won't believe this, but I have ostensibly everything that I've ever wanted in terms of success and more. A great job, great family, cottage, a plane, whatever it is. But they whisper to him, it feels empty. Something's missing. And so it's really a deep felt human need to contribute in a meaningful way in order to find fulfillment. Otherwise, the old way of defining success through ambition, it leaves us feeling empty at some point. At some point in our life, we get wise enough to say, there must be more. And that's why when you find your purpose, it's like you're doing the more and you're feeling it and you're contributing in a meaningful way. And it feels like you're where you're meant to be and doing what you're meant to do.
No, what resonates with me is it feels like you're contributing to something much greater than yourself. It's probably overcoming the ego focus and using our skills and talent to maybe contribute to the whole. Yeah. So, okay, let's dig even deeper. So, what steps should people take to start exploring their purpose?
Well, the first is being able to step into and believe that they have a purpose. So for the listeners, if you're saying right now, as you hear me say, everyone has a unique purpose and talents and skills to share. If you're kind of saying, oh, not me, I'm not sure, I don't want to play a big game. That's where you have to start. You have to start believing that you and everyone has this unique purpose. And, I can use a simple example that at our cottage where I go in the summer, we have a parking lot, it's very full, and there's a person that directs cars there. And he is the happiest guy. And every day he probably sees hundreds of people and makes them smile, brings joy to their life. That's his purpose. So it doesn't have to be about changing the world in big ways. Sometimes it's touching the hearts of people around us in small ways. And we all have that capacity, that ability. So the first part is believing. And then being willing to start taking some steps. So if you're saying, I'm too busy, I'm too tired, I'm too old, I don't have enough money to play, I've gone too far in my career, I can't turn back. I've heard all those excuses. And as you know, when you find your purpose, you get more clarity. And once that clarity comes, you can say no to a bunch of things. So you should, in theory, be able to take some things off your plate. Be less busy. And like you say, it gives you energy. So being tired is not an excuse. And being too old, Dr. Bali, who's my mentor and guru, at 93, he is still going strong. I think he's accelerating. So he's written a book in the last few years. He's traveling. He's on Facebook and Twitter. So no excuse about being too old. And the risk, if you're in a career path, you don't have to quit. You don't have to quit your day job. You can start doing something in parallel and start taking baby steps. So really being willing to step up. And once you're willing, what happens is the guidance starts to come. And guidance can come in by way of passion. So you feel like I felt with meditation, I just needed to share it with the world. It was so great. It can also come through struggles. Something that you've really struggled with and you feel like you found an insight or a way to deal with it. And again, you want to share it with the world. It can be something also that breaks your heart, something in the world that really makes you sad and makes you want to change it, makes you want to step up and say, no, this isn't right. So the passion can come through many different venues, but looking for that guidance from passions and then from synchronicities and people coming your way and books coming your way, all to help you really start honing in on your purpose. But
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the key there is the next step is action. So if you start to get the guidance and you're not acting, it's like putting a GPS on with a destination, but not moving forward. You won't get any more instructions. You won't get any more guidance. So you really have to start taking baby steps. And what I'd recommend to people is don't think that, like for instance, I took yoga teacher training. I knew in my heart that I didn't necessarily want to be a yoga teacher for the rest of my life, but something compelled me about it at that time in my life. And I pursued it. And now it's a foundation of my mindfulness teaching and coaching. not on the yoga mat, but in the offices of businesses. So we need to take those baby steps to get more guidance and to really get on our path.
So you learned something there that helped you. So you talked about, once you find it, to have the courage. So I found mine 5 years ago. It's gotten more precise now, especially with the work I did with Tim. But I knew 5 years ago, 4 years ago, because I wrote it in one of my Molken books, that I wanted to run a global company to raise consciousness, transform leaders. And but it took me 4 years to gain the courage, and I never had the courage to do it. I had to get fired. So I figured that this is my soul, playing. I said the universe gave me a chance, but when I got fired, I went to get another job, and I got fired again, and then I started to get the message. So, I think the universe is always trying to nudge us where we're supposed to be and where we're supposed to contribute. And when we don't listen, the nudging gets more violent. Well, we may have a crisis of getting fired or a health crisis sometimes. And then we finally start looking and we find what's been there all along. So how do you help people get on their purpose path?
One of the ways is I start with something called purpose hunting. And it's basically 3 sessions or 3 hours. And we look at times in your life where you've experienced flow or passion, synchronicity, when you really felt like, wow, things are going great and I'm feeling great. I'm feeling inspired and motivated. And the fun thing about the exercise is it can be things that are totally different. Like it might be hiking in the Appalachians at some point in your life. It might be in a job situation. It might be in a family situation. And what we do is we look at these situations and I take a deep dive into each one of them. And when we deep dive, we end up coming out of each of those situations with key themes that are related. So it's like there's this thread that's gone through all those events in your life, and what comes out are basically signposts or signals that, hey, when you're doing this, it's touching your purpose. And so I come out with that exercise with maybe 4 to 6 themes for people to start exploring. And it's not necessarily their purpose, but it's like, okay, here's the path that you want to start going down. And then you have to start playing and experimenting. And I'll just share one quick example of somebody that went through this exercise with me. She was a lawyer. And she came to me saying, you know what, I feel like I'm not happy. I'm not in the right place, but I don't know where I should be. So we went through the purpose exercise. And one of the things that came out when we looked at times when she felt fulfilled and in flow was she was helping protect or defend people. And this started like with her little brother in the playground when she was young. It happened when she was older, protecting her mother. So this came out as a theme. And, after a few sessions, she was going back to, she was a lawyer in family law, and she was practicing. And she came back to me after a few weeks and said, you know what, Jackie, when I'm protecting and defending people, it feels good. And she said, but you know what feels great is when I'm empowering those people. So she was dealing with divorces and, custody battles. And she said, what feels great is when I empower my client to step up and really defend themselves and really move into their own power. And that's when she started to have tears in her eyes. And so that's when I knew, okay, we've hit her purpose. It's not just protecting and defending, it's empowering people to step up and be their full selves.
So with the example you gave, Jackie, about your friend lawyer, I could really feel the energy, of having a purpose, but now completely knowing, I could sense the whole power. And it goes back to my example of quantum physics about the expansive energy and the value of it. Now she truly understands what her mission, then she can, it's like a sword. She goes very straight to the point.
Yeah. And just to take that further, she can do that when she's a lawyer, but she could also do that with her sister, with her son. She can help empower those people. So that's the beauty of the purpose, is it's not limited to any one facet of your life. You can do it in so many different ways.
And I had a purpose, which was to raise consciousness in business and be a catalyst for leaders. And then I worked with Tim for an hour and a half, and there was a lot of tears because, for me, when I cry, it's because I'm aligned. I truly get the guidance that this is the truth for me.
Yeah.
And my purpose just took a whole new level. And in the past, I was trying to be too humble by saying, that's not me. I cannot serve humanity. And now it's very clear that I'm at level 7 bar at serving humanity, and my purpose is to be one of the people that transforms humanity. So I don't think it can get bigger than that. So
no, that energizes me for sure.
Yeah. I think Elon Musk is, he wants to bring people to Mars, but I want to transform humanity on this earth, in case Elon fails with his mission. And even if he succeeds, we all know that it will be the wealthiest people, not everyone that could go to Mars. So yeah, when I got that from Tim, I got the whole essence of the work you and him do, that I could feel. And you know me now, I don't work less. I work as hard as before, but it's much more impactful. It brings me so much more joy. So you're in Montreal, obviously. So if people want to, but you work like me through video. So if anybody wants to start working on their purpose, they can get a hold of you, and we'll put in the comments of this video, your address and everything, so they can start working with you. So what is your purpose, Jackie?
Funny you should ask.
Yeah, it's quite funny, huh?
Yeah. My purpose is to elevate leaders and businesses to their highest level of consciousness, of compassion and contribution.
Very good.
Yeah.
Cool. And my purpose, as I said, is to transform humanity by the elevation of consciousness. So for me, everything's about consciousness. Fear is a level of consciousness. Love is a level of consciousness. Joy is as well. Yeah. And what I believe is that if all humans live in much higher consciousness, some people call it soul consciousness, understanding who we truly are, then I think we have harmony on earth. And when everybody lives in harmony, you can call it whatever you want. Some people call it heaven on earth, or everybody can thrive. When I say everybody, it's also all species, animals and plants. So thank you, Jackie. I think it's been very insightful, and I think people got a summary of what it could look like. But obviously, it's not easy work. It's hard work. It requires us to dig deep. And I like what you said. Listen a bit more to the whisper. These voices talk to us. And it's been a great pleasure having you on this first, inaugural video cast.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Stefan.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.